There
It's
are Olympic medals for this.
Yeah, you know the saying "thread the needle," right?
You gotta follow it to a T.
It's the same thing.
Thread the needle, more like. So
You can do it. Nope. All right.
the topic today, when we are that was submitted by Ivan, is one that I'm sure we could launch into a bunch of different discussions because this is kind of very general. I kind of kept it open just because I didn't know how long this would take or how many people were going to join. Because setting up this show is random every time, and I'm sure you guys, if you're regular watchers, you know that.
It's very random. It's
you
like
don't
we're
know
like
it by
robot
now.
chicken over here.
We do love random humor.
We're so
rare
random.
mandolin.
You play the mandolin?
We should watch that video.
Just right now.
We haven't watched
the topic.
the video in a long time, and it's because we don't have enough to play like a good game of Among Us anyway. But maybe I really want to watch that video.
Okay, at the end we'll play that. We'll watch that.
Air mandolin. But Ivan asks us, when creating an outfit, what's more important, the weather or where you're going? And there's a lot of caveats to that, obviously, right? I'm sure Ivan and Kiyoshi will have and Matt will have vastly different answers to just like we talked about with like the shoe versatility thing, right? Like for us, it's like if it looks good, it's fine. Doesn't matter if it's not if it's not non-slip or waterproof because we're not going to be outside as much anyway, right?
Right.
So yeah. And also at the end, it's like, are you gonna dress for the cold if you're gonna know you're gonna be inside all day?
Yeah.
Right? Do you take that into account?
Because it's like, here in sunny Southern California, we do the opposite, where during the summer it could be too hot, but we'll still wear a jacket because it's like, oh, the place I'm going has AC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's all different kind of things. I kind of apply in this weird, obviously everyone has their own menswear climate, literally, where when you wear in all climates.
Yeah.
It's always going to be different. And then on the subject of like where you're going, right? Like, say you're gonna go to the bank, or
I'm gonna go to the bank.
Yeah, or maybe not. Maybe like like you're gonna, I don't know, go to a restaurant, right? Like, do you dress for that, or like do you think, well, that's like the last thing of my day? Am I just like, is it okay if I just wear a t-shirt and jeans, right? There's a lot of different stuff that kind of come into this and how we create outfits. But why don't we just launch into the weather part first? Because that's the easiest part, right?
Yeah. How about that weather?
Yeah. How about that?
Kiyoshi, why don't you start us off? Because again, you're probably in the you and Matt are in the colder climates of the stream, or at least of the people talking and being heard. Do you check like the wet, like every week and you're like, oh shit, it's gonna rain this whole week, I gotta make sure I wear that the whole time? Do you like how far do you check with that? Like, oh, it's only gonna be rainy for like the morning, so maybe I can get away with not wearing a raincoat. I can just bring an umbrella and I'll be okay. Why don't you talk us through that?
I'll definitely say I check in the morning when I wake up. Usually my alarm goes off, turn off my alarm, go back to bed. About an hour later, I wake up, take a shower, and I ask Siri what the weather is. So, based on that response I get from the robot, that pretty much informs what I'm going to be wearing that day. I will say, if I'm going to work, like, there's kind of two different thoughts. There's the thought of, okay, if I'm at work, what I'm going to wear, and then what am I wearing on the commute? And that's the commuting parts really are more for what outerwear and what footwear. So obviously, if it's going to be like thunderstorming all day, and where I live in particular, the curbs don't quite drain so well. It floods a little bit. So yeah, I'm not going to be wearing loafers, say on a day like that, commuting to work. So that's kind of like the first things I usually check is just like, what's the general weather? Is it going to be cold? Is it going to be rainy? Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be humid? Stuff like that. And the other thing is a little bit of, am I doing anything after work immediately thereafter? So that if I am, let's say, going out to eat or gonna go catch drinks with someone, I'll probably plan to wear maybe something a little bit nicer, for that like post work thing, which would be the same thing I would wear on the commute. So instead of wearing like my beater coat or beater shoes, I might wear something a little bit nicer in that kind of context. And instead of just kind of putting on like whatever up top, like a shirt or a sweater, I might be thinking more about that. But otherwise, I just have clothes I commute in, and then just change, make it to work stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the weird calculus I use.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean it makes sense. I know I have thoughts on the whole. You check the morning of and you make it like. So do you make your outfit every morning?
I have some core items that I'm always wearing while commuting for a given season. So, the shirt or the top, like it's a sweater or a shirt, that'll change every day. But other than that, I'm usually wearing one of 2 or 3 pairs of pants. Usually it's like a jean. Right now that's cold. I'll have like a pair of like navy cords and a pair of navy moleskin pants that I wear. I just switch those out and rotate them throughout the week. So, and in the summer, I'll usually commute. I have 3 pairs of white stretch cotton easy pants from Ralph Lauren that I just rotate those 3 pairs throughout the week. So my commuting stuff is very, very set because I don't really want to overthink it too much.
Right.
The only time I overthink it or plan beyond that uniform is, again, if I'm going to be doing something after work during the work week. So yeah.
Right.
And those things like I know I'm sorry I'm like drilling down a little bit too much, but those after work hangs like are those spontaneous? Have you ever like caught off guard on those kind of things? Like
Yeah, like just kind of like randomly get like text or something. So
like hey, you want to hang out or whatever?
yeah, I mean, but here's the thing: like, even if that does happen, it might be a situation where I'm like, oh man, if I know we were gonna like go here, I would have like maybe worn something a little bit different.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, I'm at work, so if it is someplace a little bit nicer, all my nice clothes are at work.
Huh.
So you can just swap it out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
just, okay, we're gonna do this. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
grab this sport coat and these chinos and grab a spare shirt I've got laying around,
Right.
or if it's like really nice, like okay, cool. I've got like I've got everything from a cotton suit all the way up to 3 black tie outfits that I could
Well,
wear.
there you go.
So
So
I'm
someone
not-
tells
it's not-
you, I need you
yeah,
to come
so-
to 3 different black tie events and don't wear the same thing.
yeah.
You're set.
So I guess so I mean it's like even if the weather changed like midday, you could technically be prepared for whatever was gonna happen that night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm maybe a bit over planned where I've got like a spare raincoat. I've got an overcoat I could borrow if I needed to from work. I've got 3 pairs of shoes there. I've got an extra umbrella. So it's not like the advantage of having almost an entire tailored wardrobe and then some at work. I think obviously is a situation that not a lot of people have. So I understand that that's not something that everyone's going to be able to have at their disposal. And yeah, I mean, but there's also been times where I've like went to like quote unquote nice restaurants and jeans and like
Yeah.
or a little bit more ratty shirt and unimpressive shoes. And even in Chicago, no one gives a shit. So
Right.
because obviously you could go to like a really nice like super expensive steakhouse and like the biggest spenders in the room are probably the most
The worst
underdressed.
Yeah.
Effie Castleberry. No, he's saying, you know what I mean? That was
Yeah,
a
I
know
comment
what
on
he's
his
saying.
style. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't want that
really
to sound
great.
like.
Thank you.
I didn't want to say he's a shitty dresser. That's not what I meant.
He
really
just
quick.
behaves badly at his own.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Tash and Turnips. Yes, a beret is a great accessory. You can use to dress down tailoring. There's a podcast episode about it if you haven't heard it. The bee headwear. We kind of
3
discussed
Bs.
that, but I think you've already got it because you say that you wear it all the time. Far Eastern End says Hiroshi that you're Batman because you're prepared. Get all the changes. Alfred. Alfred, send me the scuba diving suit, and it'll like launch via satellite or whatever, and we're able to connect to
All the
it.
colorful versions.
Yeah. But cool. Matt, what are your thoughts on looking at like the weather and how you create your outfit? Do you check it day of? Or
Yes. So, and
okay.
just for some context, I am a grad student at the moment. I'm not like working. I'm just kind of doing that. So I usually wake up and the only things I have to like leave my apartment for is like my choir class does like sometimes throughout the week I go for that in person. Sometimes it's online. And then so yeah, it really depends on my outfits, at least weather and like the schedule itself. Because some days I might not have to leave the apartment at all. Some days I have to go to campus, and then some days I might be performing either here or there. So I would like, if I am doing that, I would usually just wear tailoring. And then if I am wearing tailoring, I like to even it out with care. Like sometimes I decide whether or not I want to have a tote bag with me or just carry a choir folder because that's all I'm really doing. But if I have to wear tailoring, I like wearing the dad cap and then having the tote bag with me just to bring down the suit a little bit. But anyway, yeah, so it's really schedule and weather. So I rarely ever, like, again, if I have to like get like a nice outfit ready, I might leave something out the night before, but usually there's just a kernel of an idea for what I want to do. I would rarely set my outfit beforehand, but usually I just like, as far as like clothes removed of weather, like I just try to be a little bit different from the day before, especially if it is something like people have seen me in person on one day and then it's the next day and I'm trying to make it a little different. So vary the song a little bit. So but I will wake up and just see what the weather is that day, because obviously it could change day to day, like not see what it is the next day. And yeah, I usually see, okay, is it wet? Is that going to be an issue, or is it just like cold or sunny? I will usually tend to err on the side of over layering or overdressing as opposed to underdressing, because it really sucks. I walk. It's like a 15 or 20-minute walk to campus, and if I'm under dressed, it's really annoying. And just like I'd much rather have it be a little bit sunny, bearing down on a flannel suit than wearing a denim jacket in place of a barber, and I'm just screwed for a lot. So
You
yeah,
can always take off a layer, but you can't make a new one.
That yeah, I fashion it on the leaves, on the. There's a lot of shit in people's yard, so I'll fashion something together. Me as someone who's never created anything. But so yeah, I will just see what the weather is, or what kind of day are we dealing with, and then I might have to. The day before, I might have an idea of what I want to do, and again, just what I wore previously. So combining that idea with what the weather is, what the frame I have to work in, and then context again if I have to dress up or down, I'll do that. So yeah, and then just kind of do that. I'm trying to see if there was another aspect of this I was missing. I think that was mainly it, just trying to be a little bit different in terms of that. Um, yeah, as far as like having a lot of options, like I don't know. It's mainly just like having those accessories, like a scarf and a hat, and then gloves, and then just if I don't need it, can stuff it and put it away. Especially if I have a bag or a big coat with lots of pockets. But
Right.
yeah, I usually don't like swap things out or different outfits. And I mean, if I do have a more complex outfit, things I'm kind of strapped into, and then the day ends and I'm home, I'll probably have a more comfy outfit. That happens sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, it's just really different with quarantine and not going out as much. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see how things will adapt a bit when I get back to moving outside more, as we all will. But that's sort of what I am doing at the moment.
Right.
So weather does make a difference, truly.
Truly.
Thank you,
Yeah, I
CX
mean,
Bear, for
yeah,
the follow.
Oh,
th-
did we just
thank
get a
you.
follow?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
To whoever
Um,
MJ said it.
Yeah, I think what it sounds like. With whether it's Kiyoshi having backups, extra stuff, coats, or even a change of formality at his work. Where to you, if you have a tote bag, you can bring a cap, you can bring the scarf, or stow it for later, is
Yeah.
something that makes sense. Even I think New York, right? Because in New York, right, maybe you don't have a car, so you got to bring a bag to carry your shit with you if you ever need, like,
Yeah.
extra charger, a book for the train ride,
Right.
all that kind of stuff, right? And
And I
that's
love.
something.
Yeah. Go on.
No, I was gonna say that's something that the rest of us, aka Ethan, MJ, and Spencer, may not always have, right?
Sure, because you got the
and
car,
Spencer,
you know. Yeah.
we have a car. Yeah, it's true. I mean, Spencer. This is not related, but Spencer has had change of clothes in the car, right? Like
Yeah.
a
Yes.
change
was
of
just gonna
jacket. I've done that too, where I've got like I've always had like back in the day I've always kept my Adidas my Stan Smiths in my car because of like, oh, what if I have to like look cool and change, like guys, oh, I just change into like take off the button up shirt, put like a crew neck sweater, put on the jeans, put on the Adidas, and like you're good to go for whatever. Um, but you guys know, I hate defaulting to outfits. I'd
Yeah.
rather just wear what I'm wearing to make it to own it. And so that like leaving those extra outfits in the car never made sense to me. Anyway, Matt, you were saying something?
Yeah. Shoot. What was it about? What? It was something just about. Earlier I can't remember what I was diverting to, but footwear. That's the same. That's another. Oh yeah, I didn't want to like the New York commuter like. Oh, when you're walking around, like, oh, you're in the sneaker, even if you're wearing tailoring, but then you get to your destination, you can put on the dress shoes. It's just fucking shoehorns and all that. I don't want to deal with it. So I would usually just probably just have a shoe that's a bit more street friendly, that's a dress shoe that's a bit more street friendly and just not have to worry about multiple shoes. That seems like a chore. But in the more active days, like switching outfits, I don't know. Because I know that's the thing. And like maybe one of the New Yorker Drake's people or ex Drake's people, they had like different outfit changes in their tote bag. And I think it's fun, but I think
Right.
you just have to think. I'm kind of like Ethan, I guess, where it's like I'd rather just like find a perfect outfit that kind of works for both fields, like kind of all the things you're doing. If you know you have
Or
to
whatever
go
happened
through,
that day.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just like okay, I know I'm doing whatever I need to today mostly, but then something fun might have to happen afterwards. So try not to dress up too much,
Yeah.
I guess, so you can
In
balance it out.
in the immortal words of the honorable judge Anthony Filosa, if something happens, so what?
Yeah.
Nathan, for you.
And I like when the Drake's people wear whatever who is that guy Alex who works at Armory now.
Winchell.
Mitchell. He was just like, yeah, I like showing up as like the English teacher to a bar or something like that. I think in one of the articles. So it's just like, yeah, it's like if you're there in that context, why not? It's like, yeah, I came from work.
Yeah.
So there's
Mhm.
you can adjust it to make
And
it
and
to
that
rationalize.
happens again. That happens when you're I'm sure Ivan might have a hard time with that because he's a student, right? Where with students you don't really there's no look to a student, right? But when
Yeah.
you're older, you can fall back. It's like your job, right?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that it happens this way, but people tend to respect like decisions made by older people than younger people. Obviously,
Yeah.
that's why there's a bunch. This is off topic, but like on MFA, we're like, oh, only old people can wear a fedora, right? Like there's like that sense of like, well, they've like gotten to that stage of life,
They've
but I think
earned it.
that's dumb,
Yeah.
I think that's it's just like, oh yeah, old people look better in suits than young people. Like that's incredibly stupid, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
I remember.
but I
I
mean,
remember the
but
thing I was gonna say that
yeah,
I forgot about. Like having like that bar, like the New Yorker guys do this, where it's like the barber, and then you have. I almost like it better than just wearing the accessories themselves. You have the scarf coming out of the front flat
Oh, in the
pocket,
pocket.
and
Yeah.
then you have this. Whenever I do wear the bucket hat, I wearing it's
yeah,
fine, but rolling it up
stuffing it
and
in,
having
yeah.
that peek out. So good. And yeah, or even
Yeah,
I've been wearing with my herringbone sport coat, having when I'm not wearing my gloves, like in rehearsal, having those peek out a little bit from the hip pocket. I love that. So that's
and
fun too.
yeah. Again, if we're going like off topic, this is a great point because this goes back to I'm sure this is like one of the early streams when I saw a guy at Dapper Day, and we were friends with him at like after that day, but like he was wearing like a Palm Beach jacket, and then like he's kind of an old soul, so he had like a newspaper in the pocket. He had like
Sure.
his glasses case,
Yeah.
and that stuck with me, even though it's like. And I remember telling Spencer's like, "Well, I hope you're not gonna be a guy who just brings out stuff just to put in his pockets." I'm like, I'm not gonna do that just for the look, because like the pity peacock thing, right? Like you have gloves in the middle of winter, but you're putting it in your pocket just for that look. But the idea is that you're bringing whatever you have with you, and you're just kind of utilizing the utility of your
Yeah,
tailoring.
Your
that's
field notes.
I love stuff like that. That's why
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I like
Um,
I don't know. I don't like to carry a lot of stuff around with me. I tend to stuff things in my pockets.
Mhm.
So that's one of the reasons I like military and work jackets. They have lots of pockets for me to
yeah,
Do you guys find
That's
when
good.
you wear things that have like if it's the military or you're just wearing a sport coat where you have a lot of pockets, do you find you just carry more? And then on days where you don't have that much room, you're just like, oh, let's be a little more minimalistic in my EDC today.
I just carry a tote
Uh,
bag.
Does that make sense?
I
Yeah,
mean,
I would say I
it
don't.
depends
Yeah.
on what I'm. It depends on what I'm doing. It really does depend on what I'm doing.
Yeah, because
Um,
it's like if I'm wearing the sport jacket, maybe I'll bring the hand sandy, my chapstick. But if it's like
hand
if I'm
sandy.
wearing
I
something
should
that I
pack a-
can't really fit,
I'm
I
going
just
on
like
like
phone,
a.
wallet, keys.
I'm going on a fun little day trip to San Diego, Balboa
Oh.
Park tomorrow for a friend's birthday. I should be packing my tote bag now because I know I'm gonna forget when I leave. I'm gonna forget something
But
when I leave tomorrow.
that's why I like the tote bag. You just shove it
Yeah.
in and you're already set.
Exactly.
That's gonna don't quote that.
Somebody clip it.
That's my job.
Somebody clip that.
Time
boy.
is 8:50.
Matt canceled. Well, that was a big
Um,
segue, but that's how I deal with. So we've heard from the cold people. I think we've covered all the
Well,
unlike
because
cold
well,
people.
Ethan, you've been asking everybody. It's like, do you check the weather every day? And my question is, do you not check the weather every day? Because it's
Some
like it's
people
not something I think about
do.
like much
so
after
yeah,
I
I'll,
check
I'll,
it,
I'll
but it's
get
like
I'll
part of my
get to
morning
me in a
routine.
second. Do you? Well, okay, fine. I guess I can launch into my thing now if you want.
Okay.
Short
So
answer, yes, every day.
I do check the weather every day, and sometimes I dress. I'm sure this is why I came up because I dress in spite of it sometimes. Not to the crazy amount where like I'm about to wear a fucking summer suit and it's fucking raining. Like I'm not like on the opposite. Like I've decided to wear flannel, and all of a sudden it's like 80 degrees. I'm not an idiot, you know. But I think the difference here with me and a lot of other people is that I don't make my outfits the day of.
Right.
The way it happens for me is kind of like, again, I hate saying this, but like, it's kind of like a composer where like you have this idea of like a melody and you
Mhm.
instantly write it down, right? And
Okay.
so because like obviously it might be less now because I don't work directly in the industry anymore, but because I'm like always thinking about clothing, I'm getting ideas from a whole bunch of things. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna make that outfit, and so I don't keep it like in the back of my head. I literally will set it up because I got the inspiration for it. Just like you got a pen and paper, you write down like that little short melody, you play with the piano, so you have it, right?
That
And
way you
so
have
for
it.
me, there's a lot of times where there's like a backlog of a bunch of outfits that I've already had these ideas for that I have to make, and I'm like, okay, well, sometimes and sometimes like just like with any kind of creative thing, you make one thing and it spurs another idea, and you keep making more, right? So there's a lot of times, and Spencer knows this, where like I'll make like 5 outfits in one night because it's like it just keeps coming to me, like, oh shit, I haven't worn that, I'm gonna do this. And so there are times where obviously you want to get through the backlog because if you're just doing that, you know, I'm also not the guy who will like do multiple outfit changes in that by like literally changing the whole outfit. Yeah, of course, that'd be a time where like I'm wearing loafers and maybe like after running some errands, I'm gonna have dinner and I'm like, I don't really want to wear these shoes. I'm gonna put on some sneakers, right? Like that's different than compared to like, I really want to wear this turtleneck outfit, but I also want to wear this double-breasted suit. I'm gonna do that then change later on. Like I'm not about that life. So with that mindset, I definitely, if I can stomach the weather, I will wear what I've decided to wear. Again within reason. Like this whole corduroy outfit, right? Like a corduroy suit with a lambswool sweater. Yeah, it was like mid 70s. Maybe you could argue that you could wait till it's a colder day, right? Slightly colder. But I know I can stomach it, and I know I'm inside for most of it. I'm gonna be walking, I'll be resting, or sitting down and getting boba, where I'm not like walking. I'm not gonna sweat, right? So I'm okay with it, And that way, like I've said before, the outfit's done in my mind. I don't have to go back to it. Of course, I can wear a cord suit outfit, but it'll be different than this one because I've already said what I've had to wear because I've gotten the inspiration out of my head, right? Like I've written the piece with that melody. I could move on and make other melodies, right? And that's just kind of the weird way that I approach things. And the
So
reason
you
why
write it down, right? But do you ever like, especially if it's a newer thing, do you ever like before the day of like kind of try it out first, or do
How
you
do you put
trust the day
outfits
of?
in musical notation?
Yeah. What's your
so what I do is when you have the piano roll, I draw myself in the piano roll.
Okay.
And
Wow,
I
okay.
start doing stuff. Um,
Yeah.
no, it's like I think I have a good enough eye where I don't have to try it on anymore. I can just because I
Okay.
mean these are all items like now that I've owned. I don't, and also like the new things that I bought are like things that are fairly easy, like a navy, like a hopsack blazer, not that hard, right? buying
Yeah.
the new pair of tassel loafers, I know like that'll just replace the old tassel loafers that I had, right?
Mhm.
So I never have to like do a trial run with it on. I never like even
Okay.
like Spencer's. I've done this before where I'm just bored. Me and Spencer are hanging out, and I get like, "Hey, I'm gonna make this outfit," and I just put it with a hanger, and I'm like, "I'm done," and I just wear it the way it is. I don't really second guess myself. And if I do, if an outfit kind of gets bricked or I just didn't like it, I still like it. That will happen to me like during the day, and it's too late. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
go home and change, right? Like it's just well, like fuck it, whatever, I'm just not gonna shoot this outfit or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I think again that's what makes it kind of different. Where there's always these ideas coming in where, um, like I just got to get through it. So like all these outfits that you see me do are like um are done way beforehand. Like
Okay.
at least composed beforehand.
Yeah, it's like The Simpsons, where it's like it takes a year to produce an episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got
So I mean, that's kind of like the whole like Batman has like a plan, a contingency for everything. It's like
Right.
you've got outfits waiting in the wings.
Yeah. So do you
So you
have
just
like
wait
yeah,
for
that's a
the
good
true.
point.
show up.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
the
yeah.
weather goes a different way, do you have to like okay, time for B, C, like
So
you go to that outfit?
sometimes, yeah. So sometimes that does happen. Where like,
Okay.
luckily, I'm like, okay, that's gonna be a hot day. Oh, looks like I'm not wearing like, oh that outfit doesn't have a sweater layer. So okay, if it's hot, I can wear that one instead of the other one I was planning on wearing, right?
So
The only
so
time
you
that it's
don't tinker with them? Like if it like your outfit that you posted in the Sad Head Saturday, like oh it's a little bit it's not as cold as I might have thought it was. I can just take the sweater vest off, or does that completely change the outfit? Like that piece was essential
it
to it.
completely changes the outfit
Yeah.
because it's like I'd rather. So like my thing is I'd rather make something new than change what I've made. You know
Mhm.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
So you
that's
just
because
take
this is
that. I'll save this for another day, and then you
yeah.
have to come up with
Yeah,
something on the
exactly. And
fly.
again, Spencer
Yeah.
and Spencer knows this. MJ knows where I like I have something planned, and then to bring it back to the weather thing, with LA, sometimes it'll rain, and then the rain will exhaust itself in like a day, and then after that it'll just be back to being hot, right? Because like
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, it's really weird. We'll expect rain,
Or
and then it'll
it'll rain. It'll be
rain
raining
super
for
hard.
be raining in the morning, and then till like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then it'll be hot for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
great.
weird. Or at the very least, it just won't rain the rest of the day? And I think like that throws me off because like again, like sometimes like, oh, I know it's gonna rain, I'll make outfits for that, and then all of a sudden it doesn't, and I'm like, okay, shit. Well, I have all these layered outfits, these boots that I'm not gonna do. So sometimes and then I'll wear it when it's hot. Um, you know, I might not wear a coat. Coats to me, I think, are one of the few things that aren't a part of an outfit. They
Mhm.
are necessities. So
Yeah.
like a lot of times when it rains, I actually don't wear sport coats because I know like I don't want those like double like wet layers. I'll just wear the coat and like a sweater because the sweater's enough to keep me warm, right? So like
Mhm.
even if it's not going to rain anymore, okay, I won't wear my trench coat. I'll just wear the crew neck sweater with the boots and
Mhm.
jeans. That's fine because people do that, right? So it's just really weird, that, I go that's why I think before, I think I did say I hate the rain because sometimes for us it's
It
not
ruins
consistent
it
and it
ruins your
throws
plans.
Can't stand the
yeah, it
rain.
ruins the plan.
Yeah.
Either it ruins the backlog of outfits or I prepare for it and then it fucks up whatever I prepared for it,
Yeah.
it really sucks with that, and I think, we've finally been able to kinda get on it 'cause Spencer's always been like, "Why do you really dislike the rain?" And I'm like, "There's something here, like, there's something about it."
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, I also carry a lot of, like, my camera, that's all the stuff, tote bags help me make it okay with the zip top, it's fine. But yeah, I think it really just comes down to, you know, the idea that there's a backlog and like you just can't plan for it sometimes, right? It's just not
Yeah.
LA is a
Life
very
happens.
weird place, you know,
Mhm.
that's
Holly weird, as they call it.
Holly weird.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like it's just a really weird. We talked to all just before about this kind of thing where my approach is very much more inspirational, creative based, you know, and I know it's weird because I don't think any like Spencer doesn't do it that way. I think that most people that we're friends with, I think the most inspiration kind of thing comes like you buy something new and then like that kind of defines what you wear a little bit, right? Like
Well, it's
Uh,
like you almost buy like a piece you're really into, and because like you have one vision of them wearing it in your head, like that's when I'm getting this like hiking jersey. Like I just can't forget the mustard one where Matt Woodruff wore it with the work shirt and just
Mm.
kind of like as a layering piece. It's like oh, I can't wait to do looks like that, but my version of it. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. You have like an idea of what you want to do with something.
right, and it's really I'm dedicated to that. Like I really want to wear what that inspiration gave me, right? Like
Sure.
you just got to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think I mean, I don't think I've done it on stream, but like a couple times, where like my rack, because I use because I don't have as many suits as some of you guys know. I sold off some of my suits, to some friends, some of the vintage ones I don't wear. So I use the extra space in the rack like that. That becomes like the backlog where like you can
Mhm.
tell at what point like things were added to that thing. And it's not because I don't want to think about items like the day of. It's always because I'm thinking about it all the time, right? Like
Yeah.
it just kind of happens. And then there are some days where I don't think about it. Then I really don't like being spontaneous, um,
Hmm.
because I think that
Yeah.
when I'm spontaneous, I end up defaulting to what's easy, right?
And you don't like to repeat outfits.
And I don't like to repeat. Yeah, I don't like to repeat outfits. I don't. Well, again, with a loose definition of outfit. And I don't
Sure.
like to just kind of like, well, I know jeans works. I can wear that with a sport coat. Like I want it. If I'm gonna do it, it's got to be an intentional choice. So as
Hmm.
much as I'd like to do it, I do base it on whatever I'm
Do
feeling
it.
in the moment, and I try and have that foster that as much as possible. Um, and I do again to bring it back to the topic. I do check the weather every once in a while. I have a pretty good sense. Obviously you can look at this, and especially in LA, right? You can
You
tell if
check
the
your
wind,
sundial.
if the wind's coming. Maybe the the rains are coming, right? If it's
The old
cloudy, it looks
saying.
like it's gonna rain. You know, and then of course, like I feel like there are times where sometimes there are some weeks where I leave my trench coat in my car just in case, right? Because I think every outfit I wear can be added on by a trench coat. Tailoring, jeans,
Yeah.
t-shirt, whatever. Add a trench coat, you're fine. Like the raglan sleeve one, totally fine,
Ah,
right?
so good.
So yeah, it usually doesn't. I mean, because again, in LA also, you could be in the rain with a fucking t-shirt. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're not gonna be outside for long,
Yeah.
and it's
For
not it's
long.
not and it's not raining. It's not raining that hard.
Yeah, there were a couple times though where it was crazy.
Hmm.
Kiyoshi, how
Um,
is it in Chicago? Can you get away with wearing like maybe a longer length, like past knee length trench coat that's double breasted in Chicago without
Um,
turning heads?
yeah, I think if you're working like downtown,
Okay.
like in the like office, high rise areas, it's
Yeah.
gonna be fine. Like I have like a Burberry, a vintage Burberry trench that I would wear on occasion for just that
Mm.
sort of thing. Um,
Hmm.
and you see also like a lot of like office workers have, trench coats of some sort. They might not be like the very long version because I think
Hmm.
guys tend to
It's not in
gravitate
vogue,
more
right?
toward like above the knee now because
Yeah.
a lot of people drive.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you can wear trench coats. I'd say pretty much all the
At
time.
least for me in my
Um,
situation, it is not viable. I had to leave that one behind. At least from
really?
in Oshkosh. Currently, it's just student area,
Oh, okay,
Milwaukee.
yeah, that makes sense.
It's
What do you
just
wear for rain? Like your barber or
it's
like?
my barber. Barber's like the everything
That's a
coat. It's like
quality
real. It's
choice.
really good for rain, and it's like slightly above the knee. It's perfect. Like it's not too
Yeah.
bad. I did bring my what do you call it? It starts with a B. It's like those raglan sleeve wool coats. Bala. Balmacan?
Balmacan?
Yeah,
Balmacan,
Yeah.
thank you.
a lot of
I guess
A's.
that's what I have. It's like a cashmere, and that one's it's longer, but it's just really just like a straight silhouette. That I did bring that I'm not concerned with length about. But it's just a trench. I don't think I could make that work. Too many turning heads. Like
It
there's a
does look a little
line.
toe jack.
Yeah, and I'm short, so it's just it's
Mm.
just I like the idea of it, but I don't think like I barely made it work in Oshkosh in
Mm.
that context. So
That makes
someday
sense. Yeah.
I'm not gonna get rid of it. It's just not with me at the moment. So hopefully,
We're
maybe
separated
someday I can wear it again. Yeah,
on a break.
Yeah, I thought it was
we are
really
on a break.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting, like Ethan, how you're talking about like how you've got like outfits like on deck, and
Yeah.
I love that because I do very much the same thing.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I was talking a little bit about this in the think it's in the shoes and sneakers chat with Philip, and like at the end of every season or the start of a new one, that in between period, like I'll do like basically I take inventory of like, okay, what were successes in terms of like items in the wardrobe that were a lot, what were failures, what were the holes, and then like what do I have in the upcoming season that's like stuff that I currently have and what still fits, kind of take stock. And in that period, like for the season coming, I will usually go through everything, try everything on, and then like think about like the outfits I want to wear. I don't like go as far as like putting them on a hanger together. I don't have that many clothes and that much space, but I definitely am like, okay, these pants go with this and this, like, or if I'm wearing, like, I'll put together like fits. Like, I know these 3 items will always like really look really solid together. These 3 or these 3, and because it's all like my casual stuff at home, I really only wear that kind of the outfit like once a week, because every other week, every other day is like commuting or work stuff. So, but all my like casual stuff, my what I would call my exciting clothes, that's I only wear it like once a week. So like I would maybe only repeat a fit like 2 or 3 times a season, maybe.
Just because that's the only time you can.
Yeah, it's like oh, Saturday night or Sunday, I might wear something. So especially now with COVID, sometimes it's like 0 times a week. So yeah, but I do like enjoy knowing like, okay, this pant, cool, like, or if I'm just kind of like feeling like a certain item that like, cool, I've got a whole outfit that goes together. I know like it's not just, oh, I've been wanting to wear this one thing. It's like, oh, I've been wanting to wear this whole outfit. Like that's, I think a great thing to do is that sort of thing. And that's also like a fun thing when you get a new piece for your wardrobe and you're not sure how it fits in, but you're excited about like that item and like figuring out like combinations with it, kind of like planning a couple ideas out, workshopping it a little bit. I definitely, though, that's also like something that's frustrating when you get a piece and you're like, I just don't think I have anything else like that works with this item. Like I want to wear it, it's in season, but I just don't think I have.
It's like I've already worn. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you guys have experience with that.
Well, that's actually a kind of.
I mean, there are times when I like get something and I'm like, oh, this isn't like as versatile as I thought it would be, maybe. But cool. even then, usually later I can kind of, I don't know.
It will be important
usually later. I find a way to kind of wear it differently, or like it takes me some time to figure out full potential sometimes.
But that idea of the exciting fit, certainly that's like how I think of it. It's like a weekly, okay, just try 1 day a week. Just like give it all your effort. So at least one nice day, and to make it a little fun. So I relate to that on a spiritual